On March 20, 2025, a report by the New York Times revealed that Elon Musk, the billionaire CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, was scheduled to receive a briefing from the Pentagon regarding U.S. military plans in the event of a conflict with China. This potential meeting raised eyebrows not only because of the sensitive nature of the information involved but also due to Musk's extensive business interests in China and his role as an advisor to President Trump. Initial reports indicated that the briefing would delve into operational plans known as O-plans, which outline the military strategies for engaging with potential adversaries. Pentagon war plans are among the most closely guarded secrets, providing a blueprint that, if leaked, could compromise the United States' strategic advantages. According to officials familiar with the plans, the briefing was to include discussions on various military options should tensions escalate with China. However, as the story gained traction, both Pentagon officials and President Trump swiftly denied that the briefing would involve military strategies against China. China will not even be mentioned or discussed, Trump asserted in a late-night social media post, insisting that the meeting was misrepresented. In a follow-up, Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell labeled the reports as fake news, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth emphasized that the purpose of Musk's visit was to discuss innovation, efficiencies, and smarter production, not military strategy. Despite the administration's denials, the circumstances surrounding Musk's planned briefing presented a significant ethical dilemma. Musk's vast business operations, particularly in China, complicate the matter, raising concerns about conflicts of interest. He is already a key contractor for the Pentagon, providing vital services through his companies. The juxtaposition of his role as a government advisor and a businessman with substantial financial interests in China led to fears regarding the potential misuse of sensitive information. The Pentagon's operational plans for military engagement with China, a subject of intense scrutiny and planning for decades, are designed to prepare U.S. forces for a range of scenarios. Such plans include detailed assessments of potential threats and strategies to counter them. Critics argue that providing Musk access to these plans, even informally, could jeopardize U.S. interests, particularly given China's advancements in military technology and its focus on countering U.S. capabilities in space. Musk himself seemed to acknowledge the tension surrounding the meeting, taking to social media to express his anticipation for what he termed the prosecutions of those at the Pentagon who are leaking maliciously false information. His comments hinted at a broader concern about transparency and accountability within government operations, particularly as they pertain to military planning. In the wake of the mounting controversy, the planned briefing for Musk was reportedly altered to an unclassified meeting. This shift underscores the administration's efforts to mitigate the fallout from a situation that could easily spiral into accusations of favoritism and ethical misconduct. The Pentagon's decision to restrict access to sensitive information and downplay the meeting's significance may serve to placate critics. But it also raises questions about the transparency of military operations under the current administration. The implications of Musk's dual role as a leading defense contractor and a close advisor to Trump are profound. As the U.S. navigates its complex relationship with China, the intersection of business interests and national security will likely remain a contentious issue. The administration's handling of this situation could set a precedent for future interactions between government and private sector leaders, particularly in industries tied closely to national security. Looking ahead, the evolving dynamics of U.S.-China relations combined with Musk's influential position will undoubtedly shape discussions around defense spending and military strategy. As tensions continue to simmer, the government's approach to managing the intersection of business and national security will require careful scrutiny to ensure that ethical standards are upheld and that the nation's strategic interests are protected. In a world where technology and geopolitics increasingly intersect, recent developments have sparked considerable interest and debate. One notable incident involves Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur known for his ventures in electric vehicles and space travel, as he faces scrutiny regarding his relationship with China. In a statement that has reverberated through various media channels, former President Donald Trump asserted that Musk will not receive confidential briefings about China. underscoring the heightened tensions between the United States and China over technology and trade. This assertion comes amidst broader discussions about the role of influential tech figures in international affairs. Trump's comments suggest a growing concern over the potential influence that leaders in the tech industry may wield, particularly in relation to national security. The former president stated, "We cannot allow a single individual to have access to sensitive information that could compromise our national interests," emphasizing the need for vigilance in safeguarding America's technological advancements and strategic plans. Musk's ventures, particularly his ties with companies that operate in China, have long been a point of contention. As Tesla continues to expand its footprint in the Chinese electric vehicle market, the implications of Musk's access to information become even more pronounced. Analysts note that while fostering international partnerships can lead to innovation and economic growth, such relationships also raise questions about loyalty and the safeguarding of proprietary technology. The backdrop of these comments is a rapidly evolving landscape where technological prowess is becoming increasingly critical to national power. The Biden administration has already taken steps to mitigate risks associated with foreign technology investments, highlighting the fine line that tech leaders must navigate between collaboration and competition. In another vein, the U.S. is witnessing a generational shift in political engagement, as exemplified by the emergence of Kai Trump, a Gen Z vlogger who is drawing attention to the intersection of youth culture and political discourse. Through his platform, Trump is engaging younger audiences in a manner that resonates with their values and concerns, representing a departure from traditional political communication strategies. This shift reflects an understanding that the future of political engagement will be shaped significantly by digital platforms and the voices of younger generations. Meanwhile, DC has announced ambitious plans for a wellness resort at Poplar Point aimed at enhancing community health and well-being. This initiative represents a growing trend among cities to prioritize mental and physical health through innovative urban development projects. As wellness becomes a focal point in city planning, the integration of technology in these spaces could lead to enhanced experiences for residents and visitors alike, showcasing a holistic approach to urban living. The convergence of these narratives, Musk's geopolitical challenges, the rise of young political influencers, and urban wellness initiatives, paints a complex picture of a society grappling with the implications of technology in everyday life. As we look ahead, it is clear that the interplay between technology, politics, and community well-being will continue to evolve, inviting ongoing dialogue and exploration of how these elements can coexist and foster a brighter future. The stakes are high, and the outcomes will likely shape not just the technological landscape but the very fabric of society itself. In a rapidly evolving political landscape, the intersection of technology, government funding, and business operations has never been more pronounced. Recent developments signal significant shifts that could reshape various sectors, especially as influential figures and institutions navigate the complexities of federal support. The latest reports from the Wall Street Journal shed light on several pivotal events unfolding as of March 21, 2025, with implications that resonate far beyond the immediate headlines. In a noteworthy concession, Columbia University has reportedly yielded to demands from former President Donald Trump regarding federal funding. This development marks a dramatic turn in the ongoing dispute over financial support for educational institutions, particularly those that have faced scrutiny for their political stances and affiliations. Observers suggest that this decision reflects a broader trend of universities reassessing their relationships with government funding amid political pressures. Universities must balance their academic freedom with the realities of funding, one expert commented, highlighting the delicate negotiation that institutions like Columbia must navigate in the current political climate. In a related vein, the Small Business Administration (SBA) is planning to make drastic cuts to its workforce, potentially reducing its staff by more than 40%. This decision raises concerns about the agency's ability to effectively support small businesses, especially as economic challenges persist. The SBA has historically played a crucial role in providing resources and assistance to entrepreneurs, and such layoffs could hinder its capacity to fulfill this mandate. As one source noted, a reduced workforce may lead to longer wait times for loans and a decrease in available guidance for small business owners during critical periods. Tensions also surfaced in the tech sector as Trump firmly stated that Elon Musk would not receive briefings on the Pentagon's plans regarding China. This declaration underscores the intricate relationship between technology leaders and government agencies, particularly in matters of national security. Musk, whose companies have increasingly ventured into defense contracts and satellite communications, has found himself at odds with the administration's stance on critical geopolitical issues. Analysts speculate that this exclusion might alter Musk's approach to future collaborations with the government, as he navigates the implications of such high-stakes decisions. These developments are not occurring in a vacuum. They reflect a broader context of economic uncertainty and shifting power dynamics between the public and private sectors. As the nation grapples with the implications of these decisions, the focus will inevitably turn to how these institutions adapt to the challenges that lie ahead. The potential for increased scrutiny on federal funding could lead universities to reconsider their policy stances, while the SBA's workforce reductions might prompt a re-evaluation of how small businesses access support. As we look to the future, the interplay of technology, government, and business will likely continue to evolve, shaped by the decisions made today. The ramifications of these recent events are yet to fully unfold, but they signal a crucial moment for stakeholders across industries to engage in dialogue and strategize for a rapidly changing landscape. In a move that underscores the ongoing tensions surrounding TikTok in the United States, major American investors in ByteDance, the parent company of the popular video sharing app, are actively exploring a deal designed to alleviate concerns from the Trump administration regarding the app's Chinese ownership. As the deadline for a potential ban looms, these negotiations reflect a complex intertwining of technology, national security, and corporate interests that could reshape the future of TikTok in the U.S. The effort, which includes prominent firms such as General Atlantic, Susquehanna, KKR, and Coatue, aims to acquire additional stakes in a newly spun-off U.S. branch of TikTok. Oracle, the software giant co-founded by Trump ally Larry Ellison, is also in discussions to take a small holding in this entity, while providing assurances that American users' data will be securely managed. According to sources familiar with the talks, the goal is to buy out existing Chinese investors to ensure that TikTok's U.S. operations are free from Beijing's influence. This initiative comes against the backdrop of a federal law set to take effect on April 5, which would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless its Chinese owners relinquish control. The legislation, introduced in response to national security concerns, previously forced the app to go offline temporarily for its 170 million American users. However, an executive order from Trump extended the deadline, allowing for further negotiations with multiple potential buyers. Since the deadline was extended, we're optimistic about reaching a deal that addresses national security concerns while allowing TikTok to continue operating in the U.S., said Bill Ford, chief of General Atlantic and a member of ByteDance's board. Yet the details of how ownership will be structured remain fluid, with ByteDance indicating a preference for maintaining a stake in its U.S. operations. While the discussions indicate a level of cooperation among U.S. investors, they also highlight the broader geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China. U.S. politicians and security officials have long expressed fears that the Chinese government could exploit TikTok to access sensitive personal information and influence American discourse through its algorithm. Although TikTok denies any such ties to the Chinese government, the scrutiny from Washington has intensified. Oracle's involvement is particularly noteworthy, as the company previously engaged with TikTok through a project aimed at securing user data within U.S. borders. This collaboration, dubbed Project Texas, has positioned Oracle as a key player in the ongoing negotiations. In addition to Oracle, other notable bidders include Frank McCourt, a media entrepreneur, and Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit, who are proposing their own consortium to acquire TikTok. The stakes are high not just for ByteDance and its investors but also for the political landscape in the U.S. The administration is acting as an intermediary, inviting various groups to submit bids for TikTok, with the outcome likely to have significant implications for U.S.-China relations and the future of digital privacy and security. As this situation develops, the potential for a high-level agreement by the impending deadline remains uncertain. However, Vice President J.D. Vance has expressed optimism that a deal will be reached that satisfies national security concerns while allowing for a distinctly American TikTok enterprise. The coming weeks will be pivotal as stakeholders navigate the complexities of ownership, data security, and geopolitical considerations in this unprecedented landscape. As tensions continue to rise in U.S. politics, a recent town hall event in St. Paul, Minnesota has brought to light the personal stories of individuals affected by the policies of the Trump administration. Organized by a coalition of Democratic state attorneys general, the meeting was part of a national tour aimed at gathering support and evidence for ongoing lawsuits against the former president's administration. The event resonated deeply with attendees, some of whom shared harrowing accounts of their experiences, reflecting a growing frustration with recent federal actions. Among those who spoke was Joy Marver, a veteran who recounted her abrupt termination from the Veterans Benefits Administration. "All I was given was a post-it note," she explained to a crowd that gasped in disbelief. This note contained only an email address and a phone number, leaving her feeling abandoned and disheartened. Marver's story is emblematic of the distress many feel in the wake of federal firings and funding freezes, which have created uncertainty and chaos in various government agencies. The town hall was attended by key Democratic figures including Keith Ellison of Minnesota and Chris Mays of Arizona, who emphasized the necessity of these hearings. "We've got 4.5 years of gas in our tanks and we're here to fight for the American people all the way through," Ellison stated, underscoring their commitment to combat the perceived injustices stemming from the Trump administration's policies. The community impact hearings, which began in Arizona earlier this month, aimed to provide a platform for citizens to voice their grievances while collecting testimonies that may bolster legal action. So far, about 10 lawsuits have been filed against the Trump administration, addressing a range of issues from employment practices to civil rights violations. The attorneys general have already secured temporary restraining orders against several Trump directives, illustrating their determination to challenge actions they view as harmful to the public interest. Attendees were encouraged to share their stories, and many took the opportunity to express their frustrations. A former employee of the Federal Digital Services Agency 18F described being laid off in the middle of the night, while another individual noted the emotional toll of losing a job after months of rigorous background checks for federal roles. These narratives revealed the broader implications of the Trump administration's policies, particularly the impact on vulnerable populations such as veterans and immigrant families. One poignant moment came when a mother shared the plight of her family grappling with the specter of deportation under the current administration. Her testimony echoed a sentiment of resilience amongst those present, as many expressed a desire to organize and fight back against policies they deem unjust. As the event wrapped up, a Minnesota activist called for action, urging attendees to channel their grief and anger into motivation for change. "The first step of that call to action is just to get fucking angry, man," they declared, emphasizing the need for collective action in the face of adversity. With the Democratic coalition committed to continuing their fight, the outcomes of their legal battles remain to be seen. However, the stories shared at the town hall highlight not only the personal impacts of political decisions but also the potential for grassroots movements to effect change and hold leaders accountable. As the political landscape evolves, the resolve of those affected by these policies may very well shape the narrative moving forward, underscoring the importance of community engagement in the democratic process. In a surprising turn of events, the Pentagon recently planned to brief Elon Musk on U.S. military strategies concerning a potential conflict with China. This development, reported by the New York Times, raises significant concerns about the implications of Musk's dual role as a prominent government advisor and a leading defense contractor. While the meeting was scheduled for March 21, 2025, subsequent denials from both Pentagon officials and President Trump cast doubt on the original intentions behind the briefing. The Pentagon's decision to involve Musk. The billionaire CEO of Tesla and SpaceX in discussions about sensitive military plans indicates an unprecedented level of access for a private citizen, particularly one with extensive business interests in China. Musk has been a significant contractor for the Department of Defense, supplying military technologies that could play a crucial role in any conflict. This access could create conflicts of interest, especially given Musk's financial engagements in China, where Tesla operates one of its largest production facilities. According to U.S. officials, the briefing was meant to cover the extensive operational plans or OPLANs detailing how the U.S. would respond to a military threat from China. Such plans are closely guarded secrets consisting of strategic options and potential targets designed to be confidential to maintain a tactical advantage. If foreign nations become privy to these strategies, it could severely undermine U.S. military readiness. The announcement of the briefing led to a flurry of reactions. President Trump dismissed the notion that discussions would involve military plans against China, asserting via social media that China will not even be mentioned. Shortly after, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell characterized the meeting as informal, aimed at discussing innovation and efficiencies rather than sensitive military strategies. Nevertheless, reports confirmed that senior military officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, had prepared to present details of the U.S. stance on China. Musk's presence at such a high-stakes meeting spotlights the intertwining of business interests and national security. Critics have voiced concerns that Musk's dual roles could lead to ethical dilemmas, especially considering that insights gained during the briefing could directly influence his business operations, particularly in areas where SpaceX and the military intersect. For instance, Musk's knowledge of military strategies could afford him a competitive advantage in defense contracting, raising questions about fairness and proprietary information. The broader context of U.S.-China relations complicates matters further. As the Pentagon has increasingly focused its military planning on countering China's rise, the implications of a potential confrontation loom larger. Pentagon officials have long recognized the need to adapt military strategies to address emerging threats from China, including advancements in space warfare capabilities aimed at U.S. satellite systems, which are crucial for national security and communication. Musk's involvement in discussions about U.S. military strategy highlights the ongoing challenges of navigating the complexities of defense procurement and private enterprise. With SpaceX already a key player in military satellite launches and communications, his access to classified information could open up avenues for lucrative contracts. But also ethical scrutiny regarding the appropriateness of such access. Moving forward, the incident highlights the urgent need for clearer boundaries between private interests and national security strategies. As tensions between the U.S. and China continue to escalate, the role of private sector leaders like Musk in shaping military policy may come under greater scrutiny. The discussion surrounding Musk's potential briefing serves as a reminder of the delicate balance necessary to ensure that the integrity of national defense remains uncompromised while fostering innovation and efficiency within the military-industrial complex.